I'm so sorry, everyone. My computer froze literally 15 seconds before I was going to go live. I should have turned it off. It's been on pretty constantly for the last couple days while I've been editing the video that'll be the finale for today's live stream. I'm going to give it a few. I'm going to leave the standby sign up for a few more minutes to give people a chance to come back in, and then we'll get going. Thanks for your patience. And again, my apologies for the delay. All right, we're live. Thank you all again. I should have taken better care of the computer. Totally my fault. So anyway, enough preamble. Welcome to the July 5th, 19. That's how old I am. July 5th, 2018 live stream. I'm Hat, as you can see. I hope everyone had a safe and happy 4th. And if you were not in the great United States, I hope your 4th of July was at least tolerable. I had a great one. Had some beers at our pub, and then had a nice cigar on the patio last night before I got back into this editing this video. Took a break. Very nice time. Very nice time. I hope you all were able to get to a parade or a fireworks display or something like that. We had the neighborhood lighting up the sky, even through our trees. It was very nice. Okay, so what's today about? We got a couple articles. One that should have been an interesting study turned out to be a flop. Another one that shows a very good association between obesity and morbid obesity and cardiac disability, along with some interesting changes in morphology over time for the study participants. We'll look at that. But first, I want to get into Self magazine. As many of you know, the quote-unquote plus-size model Tess Holliday appeared on Self magazine's new digital edition this month, or I should say late last month, and caused quite a stir. We'll see that picture in a moment in case you haven't been assaulted by that already. But let me just say one thing about plus-size modeling. I don't have a problem with overweight, obese, morbidly obese women, or men for that matter, though you never see them, modeling clothes. Everyone has a right to good clothing. If they can afford it, the more the better. I'm fine with that. I have a problem with the term plus size. That's the kind of liberal, feminist, SJW newspeak that drives me nuts. They're not plus size, unless they're like a gal that I'm going to show you in a little bit. They are obese or morbidly obese. They are size 32s. No. That's not plus. So let's get our terms straight here, okay? That's my only problem. All right, so what's this? I wanted to start with this. There we go. Okay. So, Self magazine. What about it? What do we know about Self magazine? Turn this mic down a little bit. I'm clipping. Self magazine was started back in 1979, and it had the following charter, if you will. An extraordinary spirit and energy are emerging in women today. Fitness is the fuel. We have acquired a strong appetite for the full experience of life, the exhilaration of the outdoors, the challenge and success of professional work, the honest enjoyment of sex. Self will be a guide to the vitality we need to do all the things we want to do. And you can see here on the upper right one of the first covers of Self magazine, and this was the commonality for the look. You had a very fit young woman on the cover, and then different things, different articles, some quite interesting, some just little poppy things, gorgeous, glowy skin, and eat clean, easy ways to, what's that say, stay on track. It's a little pixelated there. So yeah, it was kind of a self-help magazine for the young and fit women, and it did okay until February of 2017, when it sold its last issue in print. It was off the stands until just this June, when it came out as a digital print edition. Okay, adapt. Magazines are dying. Print industry is dying. So I'm glad they got into print. Into digital, except the way they did it. Welcome to the new self.com. Hi there, I'm thrilled to share the new self.com with you. We focused on 3 guiding themes for our relaunch: service, inclusivity, and community. Inclusivity. Self is a wellness brand. Wellness, not fitness. Wellness. What is wellness? Another weasel word. And our ultimate goal is to help you feel great. We are known for our expertise in fitness and nutrition and providing trusted guidance on how to achieve your goals. But wellness is such an enormous category, enormous, that expands so far beyond workouts and healthy eating. And we're acutely aware that wellness and self-care specifically looks different to everyone. In other words, be your own wellness expert. And again, wellness means nothing. It's like whiteness. It means nothing. Maybe for you, wellness looks like a green juice and a bar class. Or it could be a solid 8 hours of sleep and taking your anti-anxiety meds every day. Thank you, except for the 8 hours of sleep. Or maybe it's never stepping foot on a scale ever again because the focus on numbers makes you miserable. Oh, heaven forbid. Or something else entirely. To embody those core values, service, inclusivity, and community, we know we needed to speak to all of it, all of you, no matter your needs, joys, goals, or struggles. Okay, so here you have a obese yoga expert, Nadia Wasilko. Now, she is absolutely more fit than I am, definitely. But does she have more wellness than I do? Who is to say? I've lost another 5 pounds since I got back on my proper eating regimen. I'm very happy with that, down to 186. She's not. She's not. Her fat is pushing on her internal organs. Her heart is working harder. Now, she's probably in better cardiovascular health overall than I am, but she's still in danger of developing cardiovascular disease at a higher rate than I am. That's a given. Just because she's in shape doesn't mean that she's not going to possibly die an early death from heart attack or stroke or cancer. Just because you can do yoga doesn't mean you're in the clear. Again, I'm happy for her. I can't do that. With my back and my artificial hips, I could never do that. And I'm impressed. I'm duly impressed, and she deserves her due. But she's not healthy. She's better, but she's not healthy. Our relaunch feature, Come As You Are, celebrates that strength comes in many different forms. For some women, that means sharing their deeply personal medical histories and selfies on social media, as Stassa Edwards explores in The New Activists. For others, it's making a decision to put themselves first, as Yvette Dion discusses in The Self-Care Revolution. On that note, we spoke with 11 cool and successful women, blah, 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 about what self-care looks like to them. Self-care, another wellness buzz phrase. Okay, so here's one of their contributors, Kelly Thorpe. Now, Kelly Thorpe is another plus-size model, and she has landed a clothing contract with Nike Exercise, or is it Nike Active, to promote a clothing line for plus-size women. I'm all for that. If you need to go to the gym, or if you want to work out at home, you need the right clothing. All for it. You may not want to wear sweats and a ratty t-shirt. You may want to wear the really cool stuff, the stretchy stuff. I don't even know what it's made of now. That's fine. Yes, Johnny, plus size is enormous. So, yeah, why should you have to put up with crappy clothes if you want to work out? Especially if you want to look good in the gym. Appearance is a lot to some people. And you may get a little more respect if you look good. Because there are some people in the gym rats especially, who give a lot of crap to people who come in to work out who are overweight or morbidly obese. And that is wrong. That's totally wrong. You should not dissuade someone from doing what they need to do to get healthy again. And people like that should be dipped in burning oil, in my opinion. Or boiling oil, sorry, burning oil. So here, however, Callie has a little bit of attitude about all this. Plus-size Nike model Callie Thorpe responds to her concern trolls, "I am not here for you." Okay, a model is not here for you. And here's a picture of Callie. As you can see, she's big. She's got a belly. You'll see another picture later on. And she has a very, very full, round face. She doesn't have much of a chin, though. I'll give her that. I've got more of a chin than she does. I've got to get that fixed. Let's look at a little of this. People with larger bodies, face the harmful stigma that they're lazy about physical activity. Yes, they do. But when they do work out, they also come up against a whole other slew of obstacles, including a lack of inclusive sizing from athletic clothing brands and judgment in the gym, as we just discussed. That's why it's so refreshing to see fitness brands expand their sizes and actually show plus-size people wearing the gear. Thankfully, Nike Women is one brand that's working on inclusivity, and it worked with plus-size model Kelly Thorpe on a recent partnership. But Thorpe, who recently posted about her Nike partnership on her Instagram account, was still bombarded by body shaming and concern trolling. Body shaming, we all know about. That's saying, hey, you're fat, you're ugly, you're crap, or just, hey, you're fat, do something about it. That's body shaming. That's wrong. If you do it, if you approach someone with care, with concern, you can do it. You really have to know them, but it's possible. But to just do something online or to give someone shit, to give someone guff in the real world when you don't know them, I don't agree with that. Maybe you can pull it off, but I can't. So here's a thing from her Instagram post. People with fall concern that bully others for being overweight are the same ones that mock people for being in the gym or participating in exercise, Thorpe wrote. What is fall concern? If I posted on Thorpe's Instagram account and said, you know what? I think you could be healthier. Excuse me. I think you're overweight, and I appreciate that you're exercising, and I hope you get to your goal because I want you to be healthy. According to Ms. Thorpe, that is fall concern. And everyone with fall concern is bullying others. And they're the same ones who mock overweight people in the gym. Complete generalization, 3 generalizations across the board in one sentence. This is the problem I have with the fat acceptance movement. They project their insecurities onto you and make it seem like you're the problem just because you hope they get better. Again, not everyone who talks to her on Instagram is truly concerned, and she has a right to be upset or angry. Skeptical of their motives, but that's probably not even the majority of the people who write to her about that. So to call that fall concern and mocking people, no. Now here is a good point. In a follow-up post to her Nike announcement, she explained that people with larger bodies, often face a sort of catch-22 when it comes to exercise. We truly are damned if we do and damned if you don't, she said. We have to suffer the lectures and comments about our weight whilst not being afforded the access to fitness or health. And I'm just done with it. I'm so tired of mistreating, mocking, and laughing at people that look like me. And that is wrong. That is wrong. Okay, now here is Tess Holliday in a little insert here. You look at her there, okay? Now wait till you see her in the cover, and you're gonna tell me which of these looks better. I mean, obviously that doesn't look healthy at all, and I wouldn't buy any of that stuff. And I don't think I'd date her, even if I wasn't married. But that's me. That's me. Maybe you like that size woman. I don't know. Yeah, I understand, Johnny. I don't know if she just wants to sell her clothes or is for real. That's fine. That's fine. She's got a job to do, and she should do it. And people should support her if they want that clothing. I'm all for it. Again, I don't have any problem with people being with the inclusivity of the movement. I just have a problem with the nomenclature and the sweeping generalizations like fall concern, and everyone is out to mock you in the gym. It's just not true. And if you get mocked in the gym too much, you can always work out at home for a while. That may not be as fun, but you could probably afford a personal trainer for once or twice a month and get things going that way. So who knows? And we'll finish up right here. And for the people who pretend to care about her health, it's the image that they're actually interested in, Thorpe explained. When people who lecture others about weight and health claim to show concern, what they are really saying is, I'm not concerned about your health, I'm concerned about your image, because that's what it all comes down to, how good you look, she wrote. Again, projection. I would never say that to her. None of you would say that to her, I'm sure. Or at least a vast minority of you would. But if you dare say, hey, I hope you lose more weight. Fucking turn. Troll. We only care how good you look. She doesn't look bad. But she could be better. But reminder, there are many, many reasons to work out that have nothing to do with losing weight. Maintain cardiac health and getting better sleep for starters. If you want to maintain better cardiac health and get better sleep, you're gonna lose weight. That's how it goes. You will exercise to ameliorate some of those concerns, but not all and not enough. You got to drop the pounds, folks. So again, wellness. And not everyone who goes to the gym is there specifically to lose weight, no matter their size. Well, they should be. If they want to get healthy, they should be. Okay, so enough about that. I promised you one more thing here. This is their last article in the oh, wait a minute. No. Yes. This is the last article in their online digital edition for last month, and it's called The Science on Weight and Health. This article has good information in it, but you'll see that it has a little. Let me wait for the stream to catch up. I think that scrolling overran the stream. Sobernick 1982. I don't understand why they say they don't care about what people think, while at the same time constantly validating themselves to the public. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very, very well put. So, you can see right here where this article is going to go. Weight is a marker of health, but it's not the only one. Well, of course it's not the only one. No one ever said weight is the only marker of health. That's ridiculous. So let's come down here. Let me see where I wanted to go. No, that's not it. Sorry, I should have had this queued up. I'll try to scroll a little more slowly so I don't ruin the stream. So this first bit's about BMI, and we all know that BMI is not the be-all end-all about checking health as far as weight is concerned, because all it is weight, height, and age. And if you're a bodybuilder, it's going to call you obese. Someone who is my size right now, I'm about 10, 12 pounds overweight. I could actually be in the overweight category, but there's a study that came out a little while ago that is in my Riley video, if you want to check that out. The study link is in the description, that talks about how you can be overweight and have a better mortality than someone who is at a, quote, healthy BMI, unquote. So, yeah, the BMI could be better. But let's look at one thing here. Talking about osteoarthritis, okay? Now, excess weight is hard on your joints. All of them. Your back, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet, possibly even your shoulders and your neck. I don't know. But all the previous ones, definitely. And it's because you're putting more stress on those joints. Stress causes inflammation. Inflammation causes breakdown of tissue. It's as simple as that. It's biomechanics in a nutshell. So what's the problem with that? Well, if you carry too much weight for too long, you could wind up crippling yourself. Pure plain and simple. That seems very straightforward. Well, the article has a slightly different bend to it. Some health conditions seem to be associated with increased weight in mechanical ways, which may be the case with osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, and gastroesophageal reflux disease. Here, researchers suspect that excess weight is directly affecting the ability of the joints, lungs, and gastrointestinal system to do their jobs. And the CDC lists excess weight as one of the major modifiable risk factors for developing arthritis, along with joint injuries, infections, occupational hazards, and smoking. Yeah, I love my cigars. So, smoking, sorry about that. Excuse me. But even in the seemingly straightforward case, increased weight might not be entirely to blame. Other studies suggest that the alignment of your knees, as well as changes in hormonal and inflammatory markers, are also associated with increased severity of osteoarthritis, even in patients with obesity. In other words, you may be obese, you may be ruining your joints, but it could be something else. So what? So flippin' what? You're too heavy, you're ruining your joints. End of story. If you develop hormonal and inflammatory markers because of that obesity, like I just described, congratulations, you've added into the pie. Forgive the metaphor. And alignment. Okay, well, alignment is alignment. You can't really do much about that. without surgery. I don't think there are really exercises that would help with that. Because once the tendons and ligaments are in place, there's really not much you can do to change that. Unless they're loose, you can do exercises to strengthen them. But you see what I'm saying? Um, it it just it gives you a way out. It says, yeah, you're overweight and it's hurting you, but it might be something else. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, enough of that. I promise you, Tess. Here's Tess. Yes. Now, do you remember the video from before? Let me see if I can go to it. No, it's gone. Anyway, if you do recall, Tess looked great for a morbidly obese woman. She can be very pretty given the right makeup, the right angle, the right lighting. I've seen it. And Tess's body is not immune to the old airbrush technique. I'm sure you've all seen some of the before and after pictures of photo shoots she's done for magazines. Um, that was supposedly stopped back in 2011 when people got wise to Photoshop, but Tess kind of brought it back to life. But look at this. That is not a pretty woman. Her skin is blotchy. Her hair, I could go back and forth on her hair. The tattoo's nice. If she lost weight, it would look absolutely horrible. So she's kind of wedded to her weight. She's showing off some nice flabby breasts there. Nothing that I would have needed to see. And yeah, that's Tess Holliday. Thanks, Self Magazine. Originally about fitness and health, and good lifestyle. Now it's inclusiveness, wellness. Great. So, enough about that. Let's move on. This is a study that came out back on June 22nd, and the media jumped on it because it supposedly showed that the fat acceptance movement is actually causing people to gain weight. And that, surprisingly enough, was seized upon by a lot of outlets looking to make a splash. I would have thought they would have held back on it because most of them are liberal and seeking to promote the wellness aspect of our society. But no. Let's look at it just a little bit. Here's the abstract. Objective. The study aimed to investigate trends and socio-demographic factors underlying weight misperception in adults with overweight and obesity in England. I'll just skim the methods here. She did a cross-sectional survey, health survey for England for 1997, 98, 2002, 2014, 2015. Individuals with a BMI of greater than or equal to 25. Number of individuals, 23,459. So a very large study. That's a great N. That is a great number. The main outcomes were weight misperception and weight loss attempts, as well as the associations with demographic and socioeconomic characteristics and health status. The proportion of individuals with overweight and obesity misperceiving their weight status increased over time between 1997 and 2015, 37% to 40% in men, 17% to 19% in women. There were socioeconomic disparities in the misperception of weight status, with lower educated individuals from poor income households and members of minority ethnic groups being more likely to underestimate their weight. Those underestimating their overweight and obesity status were 85% less likely to try to lose weight compared with people who accurately identified their weight status. Okay, that last sentence is referring to a very common trait among overweight, obese, and morbidly obese people. They don't know how much they weigh. A perfect example. When I was gaining all my weight a few years ago, I never stepped on the scale. I just kept buying bigger clothes. Honey, my belt's too small. Honey, my pants are too small. Honey, my shirt's too small. And so I bought bigger clothes. Never once considering that I probably weighed a lot more than I had previously. The signs were there. Everything was in place. I didn't get it. I didn't grok. So, what's a poor little boy to do? What happened to me was I was at the doctor's office and they weighed me and I looked at the scale as I had done before, but it had never clicked. This time it clicked. This time it said 270. I was probably wearing about 8 to 10 pounds of clothes, so let's call it 260, but I know that I did not start losing weight right after that visit. It was months before I started losing weight, before I got my diagnosis and started getting my hormone replacement therapy and then started eating right. So, and there is a very, very important point that we'll hit again later on. If you're gaining weight, you don't know why, talk to somebody. Talk to a family member, talk to a friend, talk to a professional. But talk to somebody and have them look at your situation with an outside set of eyes. They will probably be able to pinpoint for you exactly what's going wrong, or at least help you get into it enough to where you can figure it out. You can't lose weight until you know why you're gaining weight. You can't. And then once you know that, you have to break that cycle. You have to beat those obstacles that are keeping you from getting healthy again. They're causing you to gain weight, or they're keeping you from losing weight. Okay, off my soapbox. Now remember, I'm not a nutritional psychologist or psychiatrist or doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a therapist. I'm just a guy who reads stuff on the internet and who has lost a lot of weight and whose wife has lost a lot of weight. So I've been there. My wife has been there. My sister has been there. My sister-in-law has been there. My mother-in-law has been there. I know tons of people who have put on a lot of pounds. I'm so sorry. Who have put on a lot of pounds and have figured out how to get it off. So that's where I come from. Sobernick 1982. I'm a big girl and I know my limits. That's why I've gotten a Beachbody subscription and cleaned out my pantry. Diets don't work, but lifestyle changes too. Bravo, Sobernick. Bravo. Absolutely correct. That's exactly what I was just saying. If I'd... Sobernick again, I'm a nurse and I've seen the devastation of obesity. These fat activists are delusional. Yes, and we will get into that in great detail later on when we watch the video. I think you will see a lot of what you see every day writ large in Technicolor. Conclusions. The upward trend in underassessment of overweight and obesity status in England is possibly a result of the normalization of overweight and obesity. Okay, possibly. Notice that word. Obesity prevention programs need to consider differential socio-demographic characteristics associated with underassessment of weight status. Okay, so this study comes out, purports to show that fat acceptance is pushing people towards obesity. But all she can say here is possibly. That's after interviewing over 24,000 people. Or looking at records. The media did not pick up on possibly, so they ran with this. And I did not grab any of those headlines. I should have, I forgot to, because once I saw how many of them were completely wrong, I decided to just forego them. And instead, I came up with this. Oops, I can't. Here we go. Thank you. this Psychology Today article about that study. We won't read the whole thing, but we'll go right here, describing the study. Let me blow this up a little bit. This is a prime example of sloppy science, sloppy peer review, and sloppy journalism. Here's why. Okay, so she talks about the original research. Now, sloppy science, peer review, and journalism. Mutterick's research merely looked at the associations between people's BMI, their self-perception of their body weight, and whether they reported that they were trying to lose weight. The research did not in any way investigate or even assess whether the body positive movement has had any impact on people's BMI, their perception of their body weight, or their attempts to lose weight. To draw such conclusions, experimental or longitudinal research would be necessary. For example, wherein people's exposure to body positive media imagery is measured across time, along with their body weight and other outcomes. The fact that journalists have concluded that the body positive movement is probably contributing to the obesity crisis is unfounded, not to mention that the study did not even investigate this question. So, there you have it in a nutshell. The study was bunk. The conclusions were bunk. Totally disregardable. And Psychology Today came out and ripped it to shreds. There's more to the article, of course. It's linked in the description, as is everything else here. So feel free to read it at your leisure. Now, let's get into a study that actually showed some associations, some actual results. This is from May 31st of this year. Study cast doubt on quote-unquote healthy obesity. Women who are overweight or obese but otherwise healthy are still at an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, a large study suggests. The analysis tracked the health of 90,257 women in the U.S. for up to 30 years. Those with excess weight were likelier to have a stroke or heart attack, even if they had a normal blood pressure and cholesterol and no diabetes, it found. Wellness. They had wellness, but they didn't. Researchers said it showed, quote, healthy obesity is not a harmless condition, unquote. Thank you. Obesity affects almost all the cardiovascular disease risk factors, such as high blood pressure, excess cholesterol, and diabetes. But some obese people who do not appear to have these metabolic disorders, but some obese people do not appear to have these metabolic disorders, leading scientists to debate whether or not the excess weight actually raises their risk. Maybe not all the time, but often enough to where it's significant, to where it's definitely an association, if not a direct correlation. So let's just read a little bit more here. The new study found women who were overweight or obese, BMIs in excess of 25 and 30, respectively, but had none of these risk factors, were 20% and 39% more likely to develop cardiovascular disease than women of a normal weight, BMI 18.5 to 24.9, who were metabolically healthy. So metabolically healthy would mean no systemic cardiovascular inflammation, no diabetes, things like that. Endocrine balance. Let me see, was there another one? Oh yeah, endocrine. I was going to say thyroid. That's your endocrine system. However, the authors said it showed an association rather than a cause and effect, and was mainly in white women, meaning the findings cannot be generalized to other ethnic groups or men. Men are never involved in these studies. There are a lot of obese men, folks. I was one of them. My dead father-in-law was one of them. The poor man keeled over of a heart attack in the middle of the room. No, just dead. He was losing weight, but he still weighed. I won't say how many pounds, but a large number of pounds overweight, very much so. And we lost him too early. It was devastating to everyone. Our large cohort study confirms that metabolically Healthy obesity is not a harmless condition. Wellness doesn't work. And even women who remain free of metabolic diseases for decades face an increased risk of cardiovascular events, said Professor Matthias Schulz from the German Institute of Human Nutrition, Potsdam Rebrucki, who led the study. I should have even tried to pronounce that. Women who are a normal weight but metabolically unhealthy were around 2.5 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease than women of the same weight who were metabolically healthy. So again, metabolism, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, these are hugely important, and you've got to get them in check immediately. There still are risks involved, but with type 2 drugs out there now like Trulicity, not a paid announcement or advertisement. I just know the ad, helping people lower their A1C through once-a-week injections, with a host of side effects possible, of course. I'm not saying it's the be-all and end-all. It's not a panacea, but these are good. But you got to lose weight too. Notice everybody in those A1C reducing ads, they're all overweight or even obese. That oh gosh, there's that one commercial for the drink, that is supposed to have good carbs to keep your blood sugar from spiking. Can't think of the name of it now, but anyway, you've got the guy drinking it on the street, really big guy, who needs to lose a lot of weight. Um, Glucerna, yeah. So there's stuff's out there, but so it's up to you. It's up to you. Last part here: fitness versus fatness. Professor Schulz added, our findings highlight the importance of preventing the development of metabolic diseases. They suggest that even individuals in good metabolic health may benefit from early behavioral management to improve their diet and increase physical activity in order to guard against progression to poor metabolic health. Jeremy Pearson, an associate medical director at the British Heart Foundation, added, this large-scale study confirms that obesity, even if unaccompanied by other warning signs, increases risk of cardiovascular disease in women. However, Professor Carl Levy from the University of Queensland School of Medicine in New Orleans who was not involved in the research, said he and colleagues had argued that fitness is more important than fatness. Wellness. I'm surprised it's a man who's arguing this. I would have expected it to be a feminist. He noted that the study did not have precise data on the participants' physical activity and their cardio fitness. He added, it is prudent to remind ourselves that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Was he saying that to be dead on, pound of cure, to not take off a pound, or was he speaking ironically, or did he just not hear himself? I don't know. Pick your way. Pick your way. Too funny. Too funny. Johnny Gibson, life is short. Why do obese positivity people want to end it even sooner? I don't know. They're in denial. They're in denial, Johnny. They think that because they feel good about themselves, that nothing's going to happen to them, that they're bulletproof. You'll notice that all obesity proponents are young. I haven't seen any of them in their 40s. If you have, please let me know. Certainly none in their 50s. And you know why? They're usually dead by the time they're 50. And the ones who will live longer aren't really fat. They're maybe big, not even overweight, just big. There's a gal who works for Self Magazine. I tried to find her thing earlier, but it didn't come up. She's their not fat acceptance. I'm sorry. She's their plus size activist, if you will, and she's thinner than Megan, the girl from the Whining Whitney Thor video, the first Whitney video I did. I've got the link for for the Whitney video series at the end of this live stream. It'll be there in the card. If I can remember, I'll try to put it in the description too. Also, the link to the You Can't Ask That videos. That includes the fat series. But they're all young, so they don't care. Yeah, I'm sure. I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, nothing could go wrong. Um, and then when I was in my 40s, my hips started really going bad. No, in my 30s they started really going bad. I had my hip replacements when I was 38 and 39. Um, so yeah, I got into my 30s and I realized I wasn't bulletproof. So they're gonna see it. They're gonna see it, Johnny. All right, we don't need that. Okay.
Well, believe it or not,
Well,
class does more.
That brings us to the video. Let me give you a little preamble. This is from a particular network across the pond. I had to do a few things to get it. YouTube has already labeled this copyrighted, this video as containing copyrighted material, so I wasn't able to completely hide it. But they haven't put a strike on it yet. So obviously you're watching it. It could be shut down at any minute. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get through it, and this particular corporation won't come after this live stream and take it down. I'm thinking about taking the video and making it a standalone on its own right, because I think it's that valuable. And actually, I'm pretty proud of it too. As I said in the lead up to today, I put more hours into this than you can imagine. And I didn't get it all right. The first 2.5, 3 minutes are a little rough. But I hit my stride after I learned how to use that part of the software suite, and things really got cooking. But what we're going to look at here is 4 morbidly obese people from the UK who have various life stories, but a lot of things in common. And we'll see those as we go through. And there are a couple different attitudes that are presented that I find interesting. It's not a completely homogeneous group, which I'm glad for. The company who put this together did a good job of selecting these individuals. But there is one common thread that you'll find, I don't think alarming, but you will find quite striking. And let's see, desktop audio is on. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Sorry, I'm gonna have to break my tradition here. I've got to take off my hat, and oh, wait a minute. Do I have where am I? No, here we go. Here we go. I've got earbuds. Let's put this on. Sorry for the last minute production values here. I want to maintain my sartorial splendor if at all possible. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, hat's coming off. I got to put my headphones on. Now, these headphones are a gift from my late lamented father-in-law. These are probably 40 years old, and they were great. They're absolutely incredible. All right, without any further ado. Oh, you know what? I just realized I had that in the title. That wasn't that smart. Okay, I'll change that later. Here we go.
Well, believe it or not, I'm classed as morbidly obese.
I'll be honest, the last time I was naked in front of this many guys and gals, that didn't work out well.
You'll notice I've dithered the naughty bits. These people are butt naked. They all are. The title of this video is The Naked Truth, Obesity. And these people are very honest. I have to give them credit for that. Too honest in a couple instances, in my opinion. But yeah, it took me quite a while to figure out how to do the dithering. And then once I learned, it took me a long time to figure out how to do it right. But I got it. So, this guy here is Corey. This is Corey. He's a stand-up comedian. The gal before was Joe. They're my favorites of the two people. They're great. All right, let's continue.
In the past, being called names, being bullied for my weight, yes, it did hurt at the time.
I do care that people call me fat, because obviously you wouldn't go up to someone in a wheelchair and say, oh, you're in a wheelchair.
Okay, does anyone recognize that? You wouldn't go up to someone in a wheelchair and say, oh, you're in a wheelchair. And the same as coming up and saying, oh, you're fat. Well, going up and just saying, hey, you're fat, that's not nice. That's not nice. Unless, is he talking about people who know him? People who care about him, who say, hey, dude, you're overweight. Maybe you should do something about that. Maybe. Again, projection. And I think we all know someone else who has this opinion of themselves, and that would be Whitney Thor. In my famous Whitney Thor professional victim video, in which she portrays herself as being equal to amputees and acid attack victims. Yes, if you haven't seen that video, prepare yourself. It's quite disgusting. As is this attitude, in my opinion. Nice tattoo, though. You're welcome, Johnny. I didn't save them completely, but I did my best. Now I will say, not once in this video did they show their entire naughty bits. They have their hands strategically placed, or their breasts were held in such a way that you couldn't see their nipples, things like that. And this is Europe, you know, so they have They have more lenient rules regarding broadcast. But they did their best to keep these people slightly modest at least. But I thought it would be best that I got in there and, you know, kind of dug deep, no pun intended, into some of the parts to, you know, keep things a little more palatable for U.S. and my younger audience, because I do have a number of people who watch who are under 17. So.
Someone calls me fat. Why let it bother me? Because I am. I think that if you're confident in your own body, then you don't feel that those derogatory terms that these people are using to offend you are offensive, because they're just words.
It's more pity for them, I feel like. If that's what making their day is, putting someone else down, well, fuck, I feel bad for them.
Awesome. Awesome. Those are 3 people out of 4 with the right attitude. The beginning of this video that I cut out has them describing names that they have been called in public, or in private. Actually, I shouldn't say in public, but names they have been called, and some of them were downright horrible. They weren't really even begin to be suitable for a YouTube video, so I cut them out. One of them was, to put it palatably, a bag of turds. The blonde was called that. She said that was her favorite one, so I'll give her a load of credit for being comfortable, you know, secure enough in herself to realize that words are words. Words are not violence. I hate that. Words are not violence. Words are words. It's what you do with them that counts. And this nice young man here, he's a comedian, by the way, and he has some real good lines in this video. But and he has kind eyes too. Look at those eyes. Those are very kind eyes. I could probably get to like that guy really nicely. Most of these people in this video you would get to like. You'd worry about them, but you would like them.
My weight is, last time I checked, was 143 kilograms. So I think that's about 22 stone.
Okay, 22 stone. Oh, my calculators went out. I had all these made ahead of time. 143 kilograms. 143. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Yes, in my original You Can't Ask That Fat video, I calculated kilograms as 2.54 pounds. 2.54 is how many centimeters are in an inch. Forgot my basic conversions. I apologize. I memorized them all when I was in high school, and I thought I'd remembered them this far. I had screwed up. So anyway, 143 kilograms equals 314.6 pounds. Big. Now this guy, as you can see, is pretty tall. So he's actually carrying that weight really well, I think. If I weighed 314, I'm 5'9". You probably wouldn't be able to see my face right now. You'd just see the corners of my eyes and a little mouth, and that would be about it. But he does have a hell of a chin. He's got a hell of a chin. He has an interesting backstory. We'll get into that.
My weight is currently just under 20 stone.
Okay, 20 stone. A stone is 14 pounds, so 280. She's... Now remember, as we were talking about before, obese people, even overweight people, don't necessarily know how much they weigh. They may have weighed themselves just before the show. I don't know. I'll give them all the credit in the world if they did. It's not an easy thing to do when you weigh that much. You don't want to be reminded of how much you weigh. It's a pressure on you. But 280, she looks a lot heavier than 280 to me, but she's probably not that tall. There's a picture of her later standing up. I'm guessing she's maybe 5'4", 5'5" tops. So, I can see how that could be accurate. But still, that's just a shame. 280 pounds for a lovely woman like that is, that's just awful.
The last time I weighed myself, I was about 27 stone.
All right, 27 stone. Let's get the calculator back out again. 14 times 27. 378 pounds. 378. And that was the last time he weighed himself. And again, did he weigh himself right before the show? We don't know. But I'm guessing not. He looks more like 400 plus to me. But I'm just guessing here. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to be as accurate as possible. Because again, overweight people tend to underestimate their weight or not know it at all. So we have to take them at face value.
I think that would probably put us in either the obese or morbidly obese.
From a doctor's point of view, I'm classed as morbidly obese.
That's just like a kick in the teeth, like, right, you're fat, but you're fatter than fat.
Obese has a medical term that, when people are obese, they're a problem.
I don't think there's anything morbid about me. I can run, I can go upstairs.
For a fat guy, I'm still very active. I think people get this image of he's fat, he must just lay at home and eat crisp. And I'll be honest, if I get a day off, I might do that.
Yeah, define active. I don't know. I really don't see Joe, the blonde, as running that much at all. Maybe she can climb stairs, but how many? How often? I think this is a more of kind of a I hate to use the word, but delusion, or lack of real awareness of how healthy you really are. You may think because you can do it at all that you're doing it well, that you're okay, when in fact, obviously, they're not. No one who is close to 300 or around 400 pounds can manage well. I mean, I said a very catty thing in one of the Whitney videos, but it's true. These people could be dangerous in a revolving door. So they cannot get around in the world as normally, as easily as someone with a more proper BMI, more proper body stature. Yeah, maybe 380 as your wrench master. Very possibly. Yeah, yeah. And again, I'm taking wags. I'm no expert. Just off the top of my head, I would probably bow to your guess instead of mine.
Obviously, being a fitness instructor, you get new people into your class on a regular
Yes, she said fitness instructor. Just wait.
basis. They kind of look around to sort of figure out who the instructor is, and then they look at you and they're like, oh.
People need to understand that not every fat person is lazy. Some are, but so are some thin people. It's not just down to weight, it's down to the individual.
Why has it got to be a thing? Just because I'm a big girl doesn't mean I can't be active, and it doesn't mean that you have the right to judge me based on what I look like.
No, no. We do not have the right to judge you. That is wrong. That is wrong. No one should make snap judgments about anyone, not on the basis of race or stature or weight or dress, none of that. Although if someone's walking around in really, really scraggly clothes and their teeth are rotting out, I'd say a little judgment could be made there. But yeah. No, we shouldn't judge you on your weight, on your appearance. No, not at all. But we can be concerned for you. Or are we concerned trolls with faux concern, like Thorpe said in that Self article? I have a feeling that this gal has a bit more projection going on than, say, Joe or Jed. And you'll see later that I'm right.
I go to work every day, I pay my bills, I take my dog for a walk. Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions.
I broke it here because of trying to keep the video tight in order to keep from getting copyright strike for too long of a segment. But yeah, Sophie Mayan has a good point. You should not, again, make snap judgments. But still, she does not give her weight in this video, but she's obviously, let's go scroll back a little bit here. Yeah, that's not a healthy woman. But I'm glad she's getting around. I'm glad. Good for her. And I hope she can do as much as possible to make her life fulfilled. But she's not healthy.
I've always been on the large size. Like, mum's got 4 kids. My 2 brothers and sisters, they've always been skinny. They've always been sort of active into active roles like sports, dancing. They used to call me Fatty Bum Bum, who ate all the pies. Me and my brother spoke about it. His excuse was to use it as a motivation, that I'd get so sick and tired of being called Fatty Bum Bum that I'd go and lose weight. When in reality, all that made me do was make me think, well, I am fat, and then it will get me down, and then I'll just go for the packet of crisps or the chocolate bar.
Okay. This is the common theme that'll play out writ large. A very early and very dangerous addiction to food at an early age. Where were the parents in this? He was obviously overweight, and he can't buy this stuff on his own unless he's got money for it. And they have to see him gaining that weight. Now, they had 4 kids, so maybe it was just a matter of absentee parenting. I don't know, but that's wrong. That's wrong. You've got, as the study that we just looked at said, you've got to intervene early. in order to keep people from building up bad habits, bad exercise habits, bad eating habits that waylay them later in life. Yes, fat shaming is wrong, except in a few rare circumstances. I have a commentator on the boards who told me she was fat shamed into losing weight, that it woke her up and it got her going, that her friends and family were giving her a lot of grief for it, and it turned her around. I'm happy that it worked, but I would not recommend it for everyone. I don't use it. Maybe you can effectively. I don't know. But studies tend to show that it doesn't work.
Pregnant at the age of 16, and my boyfriend at the time, he left me, and I basically developed a really unnatural relationship with food and started comfort eating, and I went up from a size 12 to a size 28, and that was probably in about a month and a half. My body changed.
I wanted to stop it there just to look at that and compare that to how she looks now. She has helped herself out. She has taken care of some of her weight, but certainly not enough to make a difference. Now look at that baby. That's what, about a year, maybe a year and a half old, somewhere in there. I'm not real good on babies, but she I don't know how much she weighed before. I think she said she put on. Let me back up. I should have stopped it there.
(16) and my boyfriend at the time, he left me, and I basically developed a really unnatural relationship with food and started comfort eating, and I went up from a size 12 to a size 28, and that was probably...
Okay, size 12 to size 28. So she more than doubled her size in a month and a half. Oh my God. I mean, that's so fast that no one could even tell her to stop. Before they knew what happened, she was already over the top. And looking at the size of her in that picture with that baby, she went over size 28 too. But again, she's brought it down a little bit, but she still isn't healthy. A fitness instructor, there's that whole wellness thing again coming into play. I mean, just ask yourself outright, if you had signed up for a fitness class, whatever level, and you walked in and you saw her and realized she was your instructor, would you leave and ask for your money back? Would you stay and say, well, let's see how she does? I don't know. Maybe she's a water aerobics instructor. I had a water aerobics instructor who was quite big. Yeah, I'd say you could have called her morbidly obese. She wore a pretty tight tummy tuck swimsuit, so it held the pounds in. But bad complexion too. But she was able to keep things going in the water. Who knows? Up a little too far.
And recognise the person I saw in the mirror. It was completely different. I literally used to go and buy like the 24 pack of Cadbury's cream eggs, and I would eat them all in one day. It was dangerous, and I was comfort eating because I was very, very low.
Comfort eating, again, that is pretty much exactly what all of these people do. All four of them, they comfort eat. So they've developed a very unhealthy, unnatural relationship with food, as Kat just said. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame, and it needs to be fixed. It was like I was saying earlier, you've got to get control of your eating, and you're going to probably, especially with these 4 people, you're going to need outside help because they all have this delusion that it's okay. They have a problem, but they're okay because they know that they can, all except one, can deal with the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune when people come up to them and say nasty things. That's not enough. It's not enough to have a thick skin. I mean, they literally have a thick skin. They've got to take care of themselves. They've got to go see somebody, maybe several somebodies, and break their habits and get the help they need. It's saddening. And maddening. Oh, Ray, sorry. Yes, where's the hat? None of my headsets were working. None of my earbuds were working. So I had to take off the hat to put on the headset. I'll put the hat back on after I'm done with the video. I promise. Absolutely promise. Cheshire Cat, just something for everyone to know. If you gave an obese fat acceptance person a solution and a quick fix, they will take it. They will preach body positivity, yet if they knew of a quick fix to be skinny, hands down, they will take it. Thank you, Cheshire Cat. That's a wonderful thing to know. Of course, what we're talking about here is avoid the quick fixes because these people have these 4 people, at least here, have deep-rooted insecurities and deep-rooted problems with food. And I don't believe there is any such thing as a quick fix that would help the people in this video. I'm sure there are others who, as you said, would benefit just from the advice to stop eating so much. Quit eating once you're full. That's a big thing for me. Quit eating once you're full. In fact, I wanted to tell this story. I was having lasagna the other day, a really nice plate at a decent little place downtown, and there was a lot of lasagna in the plate. And I got through it, and I usually cut them into halves or thirds, depending on the size of the lasagna. I mean, excuse me, I said lasagna, I meant ravioli, my mistake. There was a lot of ravioli, cheese ravioli. And I cut one, and I ate 1/2 of it, and that's when I got full. Now I'm sitting there with like 3.5 ravioli left. I could probably have finished them, but to what end? I'd eaten enough. So I left that half a ravioli sitting there, pushed the plate away. I was done. Finished. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I've lost 5 pounds in the last 3 weeks. So things are good.
Quite shy in college and maybe quite like socially a bit awkward, and I think at that age I probably kind of had more kind of walls up. I didn't make as many friends. I would buy a lot of food and binge because I was kind of lonely. I was on my own. That's probably when I put on most of my weight. Maybe I'd eat like a whole box of cakes and then I feel angry at myself for doing that, and then I'd be like, then I'd eat again.
I wanted to stop there for just a second. Again, a severe problem with food, and she knows that it's a problem, but she can't break it on her own. She needs help. Now, right here with Joe, it says I got glandular fever when I was 17. Glandular fever in the country that we're dealing with here is what they call mononucleosis. And I've got a link to the mono Wikipedia page in the description. So if you want to look it up, you'll have it there. Cheshire Cat, sorry, was a little late to the party. Ha ha ha. Portion control is a big thing to maintaining your weight and helping you lose weight. Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. And I'm still trying to lose weight, and it won't come off overnight. Work hard and never be discouraged. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had hit a plateau about a month ago, or actually about 5 weeks ago, and got really discouraged and started eating. Whoops, stream bumped for a second. Okay, there we go. I started eating really poorly, doing things that were dropping frames. There we go. We're back. Darn it! It's up again. There we go. We're back. Okay, but I was doing bad things for myself. I was not. I just was not paying attention to what I was doing, and it was bad. I was gaining weight again. I went from 197 to 187 to 193, and then I dropped down to 191 and stayed there for several weeks, and now I'm down to 186. So I finally made it because I woke up. And you know how I woke up? From talking to you guys in the comment section in the videos. It might have been Taia who snapped me out of it. She wasn't trying to beat me up or anything like that. We were just chatting about weight loss in general, and she recounted how you gotta focus. Like you just said, Cheshire Cat, you gotta focus. And that woke me up. I started focusing again. And things are going good. However, I will say one thing though, you can always tell when someone's on a diet when they tell you what they eat all day. I hate that about dieting. You want to tell people, oh yeah, I had this for breakfast, I have this for lunch. You know, it's maddening if you're not on a diet. You don't care. You don't want to hear what they're doing. But I digress.
I got glandular fever when I was 17 and I was ill for 8 months. And in that space of time I put on 7 stone.
7 stone, 7 times 14, that's 28, 98 pounds, so 100 pounds in 8 months. Matt Christensen, whose channel you should watch religiously, has mono right now. He's working through it though. The guy's got all kinds of stamina. Ray, it's 117 degrees in Phoenix right now. Trying not losing weight living here. I lost 10 pounds today in less than 3 hours. Oh, Ray, I can only imagine. We've had a heat wave here too, but it's maybe hit like 95, but 80% humidity, so it's been really brutal. Supposed to be in the 70s the next 2 days though, so life is good. We may go to a ball game tomorrow night. We've got a double A team or single A or double A team here in town. Called the Kingfish that we love. Great guys. College kids on summer break. Really good ball players. And it's going to be their 4th of July night, too. We don't go downtown for fireworks. The crowd is huge. It'll take you an hour and a half to go 16 blocks after the fireworks let out. I can't handle crowds, so I have balance problems, my hips, my back. I don't deal with crowds well. So we don't go. We don't go.
I know a lot of people lose weight with glandular fever, but I just used to sit there and eat. I'm under no illusions as to why I'm fat. I'm not going to come up with any sort of excuse.
Good for her. Good for her. The gentleman earlier, the one who likens being called fat to telling someone who's in a wheelchair that they're a cripple, yeah, he has an excuse that his brother made him eat. Of course, the fitness instructor, Kat, she talks about how losing her boyfriend and having her baby at 16 really threw her for a loop, and that would have devastated me too. Although I would have tried to avoid having a baby at 16. That's just me. Yeah, I mean, your hormones are off just to begin with after you have a baby. They're going crazy trying to reestablish themselves after running your body to grow a human inside it. So it's easy to gain weight after a pregnancy. But to go from size 12 to a size 28 in a month and a half, that's more than hormones. That's insanity. I shouldn't say insanity. That's wrong. She's not insane. I apologize to Kat and I apologize to you. But she also had deep-rooted problems, and she needed help. But at 16, you know, what resources did she have? Where was she going to go? She's kind of locked in there. But Joe here, who is very pretty, by the way. I mean, look at that. Beautiful skin, nice makeup. That's a very attractive woman for being 280 pounds. But good for her. you'll see that she does something with that later on. But I'm happy for her. I wish she was healthier. I really do. But at least she's got something to look forward to.
I wasn't very sociable as a kid.
Cheshire Cat, a good drink to losing weight is drink water. Drink a full glass and wait 20 minutes. If you're hungry, grab an apple or some fruit. Absolutely, I drink water all day. This is water. I've stopped drinking coffee during the live streams. Leftist Tears tumbler, by the way. Get your subscription to the Daily Wire. You'll get one of these too. It works great. It's lighter than a Yeti too. Yeah, drink water. And fruit is great. I try to have a big bowl of grapes every day, at least one, if not 1.5. I like pretzels for a snack too. Not a whole lot of them, because the salt is bad for you, of course. But just a small bowl at night with a glass of water. I will have the odd beer too, because alcohol is good for your cardiovascular system. Not in excess, of course. It ruins your liver. But 1 or 2 beers a day, if you can afford it, if you can afford the calories, is good for you. So look for that. And of course, it came out earlier that a glass or 2 of red wine every day was very healthy for your cardiovascular system. So they found out that beer works almost as well. But yes, it definitely helps curb overeating. Absolutely. I should have stopped the video. I apologize. Start over again here.
With any sort of excuse.
I wasn't very sociable as a kid. I wasn't very sociable to my teens. I've never really had a healthy diet type thing. I eat at the wrong times. I don't exercise. It's who I am. You know, there's not like, oh, life was tragic, so I ate. It's life was just life, and I ate, and I got fat, and these things happen.
I love this guy. Absolutely love this guy. He has no excuses whatsoever. He had no triggering aspect. Everyone else did. Let's see. Corey had the taunting from his brother. Kat had the baby. Joe had the glandular fever. They all had triggers, but they didn't stop eating after that. But Jed here, he just decided he wanted to eat. He knows it. He likes eating. But the problem is he doesn't know how bad it is for him because he's enjoying it. They're all enjoying their eating, even though it makes them feel bad after they do it. At the time, they like it. And that's the problem with comfort eating. It feels good while you do it, but the shame doesn't last long enough to keep you from doing it again.
I like donuts,
I quite like pizza.
lasagna.
My favourite food, it's got to be like lasagna, I think.
This chocolate bar that's like salted.
A big bag of crisps, a big jar of chocolate, a whole cake.
Nuggets. But you can't get 6, you've got to get 20, because there's no point when it's like an extra £2.
The serving suggestion of 6 people. 6 people? No, what? Just me?
I just like food.
That is what makes me happy.
If I feel sad, I will eat, but that doesn't everyone.
It could just be a simple case of I've had a really bad day, and to make myself better, I'll have some food.
For that short 5 minutes when you are eating, it felt good. But then afterwards, you kind of think, yeah, I probably shouldn't have eaten that.
Okay, so there it is. Everybody comfort eats. There's some of them have a bit of a pathology to it. Others just like to do it. Jed just likes to eat. So, but it's still incredibly unhealthy. Terrible for them. I don't know what to say. I do have one comment though. Kat here was talking about how she would eat for those 5 minutes. I'm not going to take her literally there, but let's just extend that a little bit. You can't eat fast. You can't eat fast. I mean, sometimes I do, like before the live stream here, I was running late. I had a late lunch, so I did kind of wolf down my soup. But it was, no, I'm not going to tell you. I already said I shouldn't do that. But So I did eat too fast, but that is my portion. I know that's all I need, and I'm going to stop there. But normally, if you want to make sure you don't overeat, take it slow, chew your food, give your body time to realize that you're sated, that you're full. If you eat too fast, you'll fill your body before the trigger hits, and you'll wind up being overfull and miserable. Take your time. These people always make it seem like healthy food is gross. There are countless recipes of delicious, healthy food. Yes, Cheshire Cat, absolutely. I missed your other one. What really annoys me is there is always a healthy alternative or even a healthier way of eating what most people enjoy. I'm a vegan, and I can enjoy pad thai and pizza. Oh, they are healthy and delicious. I love pad thai. Oh, I adore pad thai. It's one of my favorite foods. There is a place up north of here called Sticky Rice that has some of the best Thai food I've ever had. They make it in 3-star levels, half stars at a time, so you can get 6 different levels. And depending on who's cooking, that half star can be a huge difference. If mom is cooking, that half star is a little lower. But if dad's cooking, that half star kicks it up a whole nother level. So you got to watch yourself. Always ask who's cooking tonight when you go there. But yes, absolutely. I'm happy for you as a vegan. I don't have that kind of discipline. I really don't. And I like meat. I've got incisors. I've got canines. I like meat. Sorry. But good for you. Good for you. And please, pray for me. Pray for me, the horrible meat eater. Hello, Anita. Welcome. I hope. Are you done with work? I hope you're on your way home or ensconced in your lovely abode.
You just have that moment where you want it, you need it, and then after that you just don't think about it until it happens again.
I've been on Weight Watchers, I've been to Slimming World, I've had diet pills, I've starved myself, I've binged, I've tried to throw up food, I've had a really unhealthy relationship with dieting.
Yeah, because you're doing it wrong. Dieting doesn't work. Eating right does. So everything you just mentioned here, the pills, Weight Watchers, Slim World, binge eating, all that. She talks about 2 things that are healthy, and then the rest of them are disastrous. Diet pills, binge eating, trying to throw up. My God. So she doesn't even know what she's talking about when she talks about dieting. And like I said before, Weight Watchers or the gym, those aren't going to work unless you stop eating wrong, unless you break your cycle, unless you get help and figure out why you're eating the way you're eating and why you're eating what you're eating. I didn't mention earlier, I apologize, but that list of foods that they talked, favorite foods, we all have our guilty pleasures, but come on, that shows an obvious disregard for good nutrition, the things that they're talking about. My secret kryptonite is candy, specifically orange slices. Those little candied orange slices, which are basically nothing more than gelatin and sugar. Sorry, I love them. I love them. But I only have a couple a day, if that. Yeah, I go 2-3 days without any. It's not a constant thing. But another thing I had was circus peanuts. Every now and then I'll get a hankering for circus peanuts. And again, pure sugar. My body adores sugar. I can't help it. But and I could eat a half a bag of circus peanuts in one sitting, no problem. And that's the the normal size. The little travel size, like you get at a gas station, one shot, no problem. No problem. That's when I was 270, 280. No problem whatsoever. Oh, I'm glad you're home, Anita. Good, good. Cheshire Cat, it isn't about dieting, it's about changing habits. You diet and you will get to your goal weight and go back to eating unhealthy and gain. You need to change your habits and to keep to it. Exactly. Exactly. There's nothing I can add to that. Perfect. And Anita, it's not a matter of diet, it's a matter of lifelong change in eating habits. Again, absolutely. I'm on the same page with all of you. Um, and Cheshire Cat, the reason diets aren't working is because they go back to eating high fat and unhealthy foods. Yeah, they don't learn how to eat right. I mean, Weight Watchers at least tries to tell you these are foods that help, but the old Weight Watchers had all the food that they sold that was, low fat, that was high in sugar, processed junk. It really wasn't good for you. The new Weight Watchers, I've heard it's better. I've heard it's more, pardon the term, but holistic. It's more into mind and body. So maybe it's better for people. I don't know. My sister, on the transition from the old Weight Watchers to the new Weight Watchers, she lost a lot of weight. It helped her quite a bit. But there was a period of time where she felt like she was starving. And we talked about that because she knew that wasn't good. She knew that that would cause her to overeat in those in those mid times. And so we talked about that, and she kind of modified the Weight Watchers regime, and now she's keeping a healthy weight. But she has thyroid problems too, and she has a digestive problem. So she has to weigh herself every day in order to maintain her weight just right. And I think it's 137 pounds. She's about 5'6". She looks great, but if she doesn't weigh herself every day, her weight can just drop or balloon very unexpectedly. Johnny Gibson, I need meat for the gym's bench press, but at Cheshire Cat, did you know that apple juice isn't vegetarian? I didn't know that. Interesting. That's fascinating. Johnny, you're going to have to put more about that in the comment section of this video, please. I really got to know more about that. I want to hear it from you. If you want to just leave me a link, that's fine, but I would love to hear more about it. That's really fascinating.
Now I'm trying to do it so that I have one lunchbox, and what's in that lunchbox, that is what you've got all day. So that'll be like a yogurt, a couple of sandwiches, a pack of crisps, a chocolate bar, and a small cake. And then once that's gone, that is gone. So I'm trying to limit what I've got.
I've tried to.
I have to stop it there. Let me back up a little bit. I should have broke at that point when he's talking about his lunchbox. Let me go back to that.
Now I'm trying to do it so that I have one lunchbox, and what's in that lunchbox, that is what you've got all day. So that'll be like a yogurt, a couple of sandwiches.
Okay, a yogurt and a couple of sandwiches. We'll start with that. Okay. Now, first of all, this is his one lunchbox. He's using this for his all-day meals. So that's wrong. You're going to need more than a yogurt and a couple sandwiches for a full day. And I don't know what he's drinking either. Is he drinking soda? Is he drinking water? Is he drinking caffeinated beverages like tea or coffee? Both of which can have deleterious effects on you. I don't know. They put gelatin in apple juice so it looks clear. And gelatin is an animal-derived product. Very fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Thank you, Johnny. But yeah, so a couple of sandwiches. And what kind of sandwiches are they? Are they peanut butter and jelly? Are they pastrami with double cheese on rye with mayonnaise? No one would eat pastrami with mayonnaise, but yeah, I'm just saying. I'm spitballing here. Anyway, these sandwiches could be any one of a number of iterations, many of which could be completely bad for you. They could be on white bread. So who knows what that is. But as you may remember this, but I'm going to stop again here. It gets better.
Is a pack of crisps, a chocolate.
Packet of crisps, a chocolate bar, and a small cake. He has more junk food in that lunchbox than he does real food. And he thinks he's dieting. He thinks he's helping himself. He has no concept of what he's eating and what it's doing to him. And this is why I said earlier, and I will say over and over again, you got to get help. You got to have somebody lead you down the proper path if you're eating like this. Someone's got to snap you out of it. And again, it could be a friend or a family member, but someone's got to tell you, you can't eat potato chips, chocolate bars, and a small cake, which is usually, I believe in their parlance, it's cupcakes. You can't eat all that during the day and lose weight. It's insane.
About in a small cake, and then once that's gone, that is gone. So I'm trying to limit what I've got.
I've tried to diet. Many people have dieted. It doesn't work. You hear stories of people losing a lot of weight, putting it all back on. Because I think restricting yourself and denying yourself things makes you then feel worse about yourself. You know, then you lead to kind of binging and then more overeating.
And she's exactly correct. Everything she said is absolutely correct. So why do it? Why do it? This is where magazines like Cosmo and Good Housekeeping, I think it's Good Housekeeping that does this, drive me insane with these 10 tips to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, things like that. They're not helpful at all. They're designed to get eyeballs on the rack, bring you into the magazine, have you buy it, look at the article, and then think, oh, I can do that. And you do it for 3 days, and you're cutting something out, you're eating a lot of this, the broccoli diet, the spinach diet. No one wants to eat a bunch of broccoli every day and a bunch of spinach every day. A little bit's good. Broccoli and spinach is good. But you can't eat a bunch every day with a little bit of everything else and feel good. It's going to screw you up. It's going to make you binge. It's going to make you eat unhealthily. It's going to make you sneak in between meals. Now, a between meal snack is okay, but it can't be a chocolate bar or a nougat. I'm sorry, nuggets, 20 nuggets. When she said nuggets the first time, I thought she said nougat. Lasagna, a whole cake. No. So what she says in here is that, people try dieting and it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work because they're not doing it right. Don't diet, eat healthy. And she doesn't know that. She hasn't figured that out. None of these people have figured that out. Anita Fetters, junk food leaves you hungry later. It can't be in your diet unless it's specifically catered to your diet. I ate a lot of sugar-free Jell-O. It helps with my sweet tooth. Oh, I like that. The thing is, though, Anita, I have a very, very sensitive palate to artificial sweeteners. Sucralose is about the only one I can even tolerate. And even then, I have to I have to build up a tolerance to it before I can really enjoy it. There's a stuff called sparkling ice that was put out here. It's got 3% fruit juice. Woohoo! But it's basically a sparkling water with fruit juice added and artificial flavors and colors, of course, and sucralose. So basically it's junk. But I used to drink quite a bit of it, but it got kind of expensive. So we stopped buying it. Now I drink, I like sparkling water. It tastes good to me. I don't like still water at all, unless it's extremely cold with some lime in it. Water with lime in it, I'll drink. Miss Vagina. Now there is a name for the ages. Yogurt, almost pure sugar unless Greek yogurt. Still needs psyllium, husk fiber sandwiches unless no preservatives, LOE. Yes, absolutely. And low-fat turkey, high salad sandwiches. Come on. Oh, high salad sandwich. I had never heard of a high salad sandwich. If you have a moment to describe that, I would love to read it. That sounds fascinating. I do have a favorite sandwich, but unfortunately it's ham salad. I know. I don't eat a lot.
Sometimes I'll go out into a nightclub or I'll go to the theatre and I'll see sort of people looking. I'm thinking, are they looking at me because I'm fat?
When I get on a train and I'm sat down or I'm sitting next to somebody and I sit down and there's ample space for 2 people to sit on a seat, you often get
I do take more of a bus seat up than a normal sized person would. In my head, I think my conscience goes, there'd be more room on this bus if he wasn't so fat.
It's just unnecessary. I don't huff at you because you're there picking your nose on the train. So how about you don't huff at me because I'm slightly overweight?
Okay, first of all, there's no comparison between picking your nose and taking up more than one seat on the bus. Let's remember, you paid for one seat. You paid exactly the same amount as everyone else on that bus, unless they're getting like a senior discount or a student discount or a veteran discount or a disability discount, or maybe there's even a woman discount in the UK. I don't know. But yeah. You're paying basically the same rate as everyone else for one seat. You are not, look at this still frame here. This is not a slightly overweight person. There is no way in God's green earth that butt can fit into one seat. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. It may take up more than two. I'm not making fun of her. Don't get me wrong. She is what she is. She should do better for herself. You know, maybe she's losing weight as a fitness instructor. There's something I'll show later that lends credence to that. But still, this kind of delusion, this kind of projection is so wrong. You're not slightly overweight, sweetheart. You're not. You're morbidly obese. You know you have an eating problem. You know you have an eating problem. Do something about it. Stop blaming other people. Johnny Gibson, pure yogurt, 3.2 grams of sugar and 100 grams. Great for protein, great for the biceps guns. Yeah, got to get that protein in. Absolutely, man. If you're going to build up muscle mass, you need that protein. That's the thing for me. When I was sick, I was going to the gym, and I had no testosterone whatsoever, so I never built any muscle mass. And I got very discouraged because I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't feeling any better. I felt like, and then I hurt myself. Obviously, with no testosterone, you're more prone to injury. So I quit. But I got to get back in the water. My wife and I keep talking about getting back in the water. And I'll be honest, I've been working on this video off and on since Sunday. I've even spent a couple nights up all night trying to get the dithering in this right. So haven't had time for the gym, which is my fault. Absolutely my fault. I need to make time to do better for myself. Just eating well isn't enough. I need to get my muscle mass back. I need to take care of myself because I have nothing here. I have absolutely nothing. So and my legs are pretty weak too. I gotta get my poop in a group.
If you let that kind of thing niggle away at your sort of inner conscience, you're going to create low self-esteem, and I'm not about that game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like he said earlier. You can't let the slings and arrows dissuade you, but at the same time, you need to understand that some of that has a purpose. People are telling you this for a reason. Even if they're not doing it the right way, they're still making a good point. You're not taking care of yourself, and you're going to die early. I know that sounds morbid. I know that sounds like a harbinger of doom, but it truly is. Or being obese, being morbidly obese, cuts at least 10 years off your lifespan immediately. It's guaranteed. Same as regular smoking. I read that a couple months ago. Someone pointed that out to me in the comment section. And I'll tell you right now, I'm so far behind on comments. I've probably got about 70 comments waiting to go through. I have not been able to look at them since last Wednesday, and I am aghast and horribly penitent for not getting to them sooner. I promise this weekend I will sit down and tear through them, but I apologize. I'll tell you right now, the channel is growing so much, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep up with answering comments the way I have over the years before now. I don't want that to happen. I want to stay in touch with everybody. I love the give and take, but I may have to be more judicious in what I answer, and I may have to be a little more concise in my posts. I'm not sure. But please understand, I'm not doing this on purpose. I have been working very hard, and I haven't even been to the range in a week and a half. So I apologize. I absolutely apologize. All right, I'll shut up.
I was in a lift on Saturday. A lady of around 50 and her mother got into the lift.
If you're not familiar, a lift in the UK is an elevator.
The lift was an 8-person lift, and the older woman said, "We wouldn't fit 8 people in here, would we?" And I said, "Oh gosh, no." I said, "We might fit 8 of you, love." I said, "But we're not going to fit 8 of me in here, are we?"
Look at that smile. Look at that. Look at that bright, wonderful smile. This is a woman who has a sense of humor about her weight. So does Jed, the gentleman with the beard. Neither Kat or what's his name, Corey. Kat or Corey, they don't have a sense of humor at all. But Kat and Jed are jolly fat people. The old cliche. You're fat and jolly. Those two words went together like peanut butter and jelly. And now, most fat people are known for being nasty, abusive, and incredibly spiteful. What happened? What happened? You can't even be happy to be fat anymore in this world. We've got 2 happy fat people and 2 insanely unhappy fat people in this video. And all of the videos I have done up to this, none of them have really been happy. They, Heffalump in the You Can't Ask That Fat video, the one with the weird hair, she says she's happy, she acts happy, but on the surface, you look down below her glibness and you see her someone who's seething with loathing, probably self-loathing, but again, there's all that projection where it's forced onto you. So, but I love Jo. I love Jo. She's the best.
The whole body and all of your experiences all kind of lead you up to where you are today. And then if you could change yourself, then all of that kind of history isn't present in your body.
Okay, here we go. This is the home stretch, folks. And as you can see, we're getting into the woo. You have history with your body. And if what she's saying is, if she wasn't fat, if she hadn't been fat for nearly all of her adult life, she wouldn't be the person she is today. No, that's not true. Being fat doesn't make you who you are. Being fat makes you alone, makes you more prone to social anxiety, and makes you more prone to heart attacks, cancer, stroke, diabetes, high blood pressure, joint problems, on and on and on and on and on. There's about 12 top-of-the-line comorbidities with obesity. I said earlier, she's going to lose 10 years off her life right now, just being the way she is right now. She'll lose 10 years off her life. In France right now, obesity, I say this every live stream, but I think it bears repeating, obesity is the #1 cause of cancer in France, above smoking. What are the French known for? Body odor and smoking. And now obesity beats smoking for cancer causes in France. In Europe and the UK, obesity is #2 behind smoking for cancer causes. Both of those are completely reversible. Both of those can be broken. Now, I rationalize my cigar smoking, and here's how. I realize this is a complete rationalization. It probably has no basis in reality, but I'm sorry. This is how I look at it. I smoke during the summer, but I don't smoke during the winter. And I live in Wisconsin, so our winter is pretty much from mid-October to late April, mid to late April. This year, there was basically no spring. I never got above 60 almost until June. But so my body has time to repair over the winter months. I know that's technically accurate, but I'm still not being healthy towards myself. I'm still not helping myself live a better life. But I have one vice, and it's smoking cigars. And I've met so many friends doing it. I have such a great time that I'm sorry. Judge me if you will. But I like cigars. Ms. Vagina, Butterless Romaine in the States. Romaine has had some warnings lately. Yeah, we've had a lot of E. coli in the States. I'm a big proponent of buying bulk pea protein. Huh. Fascinating. Belinda Janetti. Is that right? Janetti? Hello there. How are you too? It's very nice to have you here. I'm sorry we're almost done. Yeah, we're finishing up, but this live stream will be available on YouTube as a standalone video as soon as it processes. I've got all of the groundwork completed, so once it's up, and you'll be able to enjoy it at your leisure. And I hope you do. I really appreciate your coming by. And one thing before I forget. In the comments on this video, I please, you need to know I love comments. I appreciate them. I read all of them, definitely. Even if I can't respond to as many as I used to, I do read every one of them. And I would love to know if you guys like the 4 o'clock time for live streams, especially the 4 o'clock Thursday. Wednesday and Thursdays are good days for me. Although I would prefer Wednesdays because Thursdays are usually when my cigar events at my local smoke shop happen, and they start at 4, so that's our normal start time here. So I'd like to avoid every Thursday. I could alternate Wednesdays and Thursdays. So please let me know what you think of that in the comment section. I'd love your feedback because I just made this time up. I knew it would be kind of U.S. time, kind of Europe time, with a little bit of Australia thrown in if they stay up later. So maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. But please let me know. Yeah, Belinda, I'm sorry. I understand. But like I say, let me know in the comments what you think of a better time. I'll be happy to be flexible. Miss Vagina is a great brand, but obviously supplements shouldn't be the bulk of nutrition, protein in one's diet. We've been led to believe we need more protein than has been suggested. 20% of total protein. Yeah, especially if I'm not mistaken, the paleo diet is insane on protein consumption. I know some people who are on it and they can't maintain it for more than maybe like 6, 7 months, 8 months tops, and then they have to take a break because it's so taxing. Right there, it shows you it's a bad diet. If you can't maintain a balanced meal, if you can't maintain a balanced, healthy diet, then why bother? I don't believe in fad diets. I just don't. The only diet that I've ever heard work is Atkins. That's basically a little slightly higher protein, lower starch diet. And we found out recently that the government had been lying to us all along here in the U.S. about how much grain you should eat versus protein, and so now we know better. I grew up on the food pyramid with grains being the base, the most that you were supposed to eat. Turned out that was completely a sop to the wheat lobby. The wheat farmers got the government, got the USDA to fudge the data to tell people to eat more grains. And that went on for about 45, 50 years. "7 a.m. here, just woke up." Oh gosh, that's early. I call that waking up in the single digits. I do that sometimes, but unfortunately it's like 1 or 2 p.m. Just kidding. Maybe you don't know. But Johnny 11 in Europe, great right after the gym. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Johnny. I'm glad. That I was shooting for that when I picked 4 o'clock. I have a number of friends in Europe, although I haven't talked to them recently. Like again, I've been so busy. I don't know if they'll talk to me anymore, to be honest. But I was aware of the time difference, and so I thought 4 o'clock would be a good shot at that. Okay, moving on. But again, like I said, she's talking about how her being fat has made her who she is today. No, it's just made her a fat person. It hasn't made her who she is. Um, she's, I'm going to give it away here, she's a photographer. Being fat has nothing to do with being a good photographer. Absolutely nothing. In fact, I doubt she could cover a war zone very well. She has to do mainly static photography. I wouldn't see her running around political rallies a whole lot. And again, I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest. I'm being observational. She has a very, very large body. You have little stamina. You have little ability to move or to maneuver. It's the way of the world. I'm only stating the facts.
That maybe I'd be a different person. Maybe I wouldn't have developed a personality of I had to make people laugh to get them to like me. So maybe if I wasn't fat, I wouldn't be a comedian. I'd just be working a 9 to 5.
No. No, 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 no. And first, I want to back up here just for a second. I want to mention something because I talked about Joe and how attractive she is. I think Jed is a good-looking guy. I really do. He reminds me of my best friend in the world, whose name I almost dropped. He was the best man at my wedding. He was my best friend in college. We don't speak for long times, but when we do pick up the phone, instant. As if we had spoken the day before. That's the kind of friend he is. And Jed reminds me of him quite a bit. But no, you don't have to be fat to be funny. Funny does usually turn out to be some kind of a defensive mechanism for certain failings, but sometimes it's just a way to get chicks. Women love guys who make them laugh. It's true. Ask my wife. I wasn't a very successful person in business. I didn't go far in the world, but she loves me because I make her laugh, and I love her because she saved my life several times. Literally, she saved my life, and she makes me laugh when I'm in the hospital with a tube up my nose. But no, Jed. Maybe you developed your comedy chops as a fat person, but still, your personality doesn't have to be made because of your disabilities. It should be made in spite of them.
Just be working a 9 to 5.
Do bits of plus size modelling. I do beauty pageants, but I'm also founder and creative director of a clothing brand specifically for plus sizes 16 to 32.
Good for you, Joe. Good for you. Taking lemons and making lemonade. Now, I will say, this is not the Joe that we're looking at right now. This is an earlier photo, obviously, but still, that's not an ugly dress. And overweight people, morbidly obese people, they deserve good clothes too. They deserve to look as best as they can. Again, as I said before, I completely agree with that. I do not feel anyone should be shamed or made to wear sackcloth and ash just because they're overweight. But I do believe. Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. Oh no. I'm sorry. I thought of something else. But I do believe that clothes for the obese, the size 32, the size 28, the size 22, I believe they should be made to only last 6 months. Because if you're taking care of yourself, if you're on a proper eating regimen, if you're on a proper exercise regimen, you'll only need that dress for a couple weeks. But I think 6 months gives you plenty of opportunity to slim down and get into another size. So, yeah. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. Belinda, I'm a size 20 before, but to be honest, I didn't like it, so I dieted, and now I'm a size 14 and still losing. I'm also hypersensitive, and being fat makes it worse. Now I feel great. Oh, Belinda, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm sorry for your hypersensitivity. I understand it completely. When I was young, I was extremely sensitive to any kind of stimuli. My parents thought I was autistic for a while. There were so many things that upset me, but I grew out of it. When I was up at 280, no one ever said a word to me about my weight, so I didn't even have a chance to be sensitive about it. I only noticed it through a fluke at the doctor's office, and started, getting help. And it was a fluke that I even got the help I got. Yeah, I understand the sensitivity. I really do, and I'm glad you slimmed down to a 14 and you're feeling great about yourself. You should be applauded for that. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy and proud of you. You're doing it wrong, Ed. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. That is me, actually. I am the Mister You're doing it wrong. Ask my wife. Anything that she says initially, I will say, well, no, I think it's, and then about 2 minutes later, I'll realize she's right. But I do it to everybody, absolutely everybody, even doctors. I'm like, well, are you sure? That sounds more like pathology than morbidity to me. I'm insane. I'm absolutely insane.
A professional photographer. I don't normally say that out loud. At the moment, I'm working on a personal project which is called Behind the Scars.
I love going to drag shows. Drag for me is the best happiness I ever have.
All right, a photographer, and not. I'm sorry, what was his name again? Corey. Corey doesn't say what he does for a living. Obviously, you can make money at drag, and I understand that a lot of drag performers are overweight. One of the best ones I've ever seen was morbidly obese, but she really rocked the crowd. Very, very biting humor. She made Don Rickles look like just the tamest comedian you can think of. David Letterman. Yeah, she made Don Rickles look like David Letterman. Very, very biting humor, but funny, really funny. Lots of laughs, and I hope Corey does well in that too. I love the wig. That is one gorgeous wig. That's really something else. The eye makeup, pretty standard for drag, I have to admit. That's, incredibly difficult to put on, I'm sure, but that's not incredibly. That's not very trend setting. But that hair, that's awesome. Now, Sophie Mayanne, the gal before, the photographer, terrific. I'd love to see her series Behind the Scars. But again, being fat didn't make her a photographer. Her desires made her a photographer. Unfortunately, her unnatural relationship with food made her morbidly obese. She can change that, and I'm sure she would become a better photographer for it too.
I won my first pageant in 2015. I was crowned Miss British Beauty Curve.
Now, okay, 2015 Miss British Beauty Curve. That's right there. It says International Curve 2017. And in my eye, she looks heavier in that than she does now. Maybe not by a lot, but I think her face is heavier. So it looks like she's losing weight over time. And again, I'm extremely happy for her. Go, Kat, go. But I'd love to know what the criteria are for winning Miss International Curve. But you have to be proud of her. That's wonderful. I would would pick Joe, the blonde, over Kat any day. I think Joe's much prettier, but and Joe does beauty pageants too, so maybe someday they'll go up against each other. You know who my money's on.
I'm not saying I'm proud to be fat. All that I'm here for is to sit here and say, you live your life how you want to live it.
I think we all have an ideal body, and this isn't my ideal body, but it's my body. Do I look like Jake Gyllenhaal? Yes, but I mean, everyone except Jake Gyllenhaal does. You ask Jake Gyllenhaal and he'll probably say, yeah, I want to look like Jed Salisbury. Probably not though, I don't think he knows me.
Funniest joke in the video. I love the one about the elevator. That's hilarious. But this Jake Gyllenhaal line slayed me the first time I heard it. And I have watched this video probably 20 times in editing it. But that was was fascinating. I think he's probably a pretty good stand-up if he can deliver lines like that. And he does it with a straight face. He doesn't crack himself up. He's got a very sincere look on his face. I'd love to see his performance. I don't know his last name though. Maybe it's not in the description for the video either. So I'm not sure, but you know, I'm sure Jake Gyllenhaal would like to look like me, but he probably doesn't. I don't think he knows me. That's hilarious. DP, this is a very refreshing comment. I assumed you'd be roasting these people when I clicked. Oh, no, absolutely not. I do not roast. I can be catty. If you watch my Whitney Thor videos or my You Can't Ask That Fat videos, I do throw in the odd line where I take a dig. I'm not saying I'm the nicest person in the world, but I do not do roasts. I do not believe in cringe compilations or anything like that. I know they get millions of views. I've seen them. I've seen their view counts. I never watch them. I don't want to be exposed to that kind of thing. The closest I've come to any cringe comment is Gavin McGinnis. He did a video on obesity once, and all he would do is play video of some morbidly obese person, and then he would stop it and he'd yell, "You're dying, you're dying." And Gavin McGinnis knows how to yell. I won't yell like he did, but that was his whole shtick, and I found that disgusting. No, I'm not about that. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that.
I do think that there are a lot of people who have negative opinions about body size. I don't think that will ever change, but what can change is us trying to change people's attitudes towards bodies, understanding that every body is beautiful regardless of its shape or size. We are all inhabiting a body and we all have to live with that body. So why are we judging each other's bodies? Why can't we just be happy for each other?
Yeah, I would love to be happy for you, Kat. I would love to, but look at you. You're not healthy. You're dying. I know I just repeated Gavin McGinnis, but it's true. You're dying. Kat's a fitness instructor for those of you who came in late, but how much fitness can she really do? Sophie Mann on the lower right corner there, the photographer. You know, she's not the person she can be. She's probably a great photographer. I will admit I have a pretty good eye, and so does my wife. Now that she's got a decent camera, she can really take a good snap. But I just I want her to be better. And Joe, a beautiful woman. Look at her, lower left corner there, beautiful woman. But she's 280 pounds according to her. No. Be better. Be better. Be happy enough to break your eating habits, your bad eating habits, and get healthy, please. And Corey with the worst attitude of any of them. You know, just talking about being fat, being comparable to being in a wheelchair. I find that insulting. When Whitney does it, I find it insulting. When anyone does it, I find it insulting. But you know, he talks about being on a diet by eating yogurt, 2 sandwiches, a bag of potato chips, a chocolate bar and a small cake. That's not a diet. That's eating junk. It's eating what you want to eat because you have an unhealthy relationship with food. Let me catch up on the chat here. Let's see. Thank you, Cheshire Cat. That's very kind of you. Okay, I don't know much. I don't eat a lot of rice myself. I will admit the odd Asian food I eat isn't all that good, except for the Thai stuff. With the Thai stuff, I eat very healthy, but when I eat the other Asian stuff, I'll admit it's usually processed. It's quick. I'm so busy, I don't have time to cook, really, which is disgusting, I realize. I need to make more time, but I don't. I eat a lot of processed food. I don't eat a lot of it, but a lot of my food is processed. A lot of soups, sandwiches, things like that. But where was I going? Oh, yeah. I love, I pronounce it pho, but I understand it's really pronounced pho, Vietnamese soup, the noodle soup with, I like it with the white chicken. I wish they would make it with dark meat, but they make it with the white meat instead. I prefer dark meat. As I understand it, actually, Asians really got a kick out of the Americans when they first came here, because the Americans would eat the white meat, what the Asians didn't like. They liked the dark meat, so they would take the part of the chicken that they didn't want, sell it, make all that money, and then get to eat the part that they wanted. It was win-win. I got a huge kick out of that. Oh, okay, I'm done with the video. There you go, Ray. Back on. I promise next time I'll have proper earbuds, so I won't have to take my hat off. That was a last-minute thing there. I honestly got about an hour's worth of sleep today, so I wasn't as prepared as I could have been. But there y'all have it. That's the video. That's the live stream. I can't thank you all enough for coming. It was really great to have you here. I'll be honest, this is a record. I've never had 15 people before, and I'm very proud that you guys found the time and you found it worthwhile to stop in and watch. I hope to be able to keep the content interesting as things go on. I do have an announcement to make regarding the anorexia video that I had announced several months ago. I had trouble getting it off the ground, to be honest. I was expecting more input than I had gotten, and that changed the way I was going to look at the video completely. I've started the script several times and had to trash it because I don't know anorexia the way I know obesity, and I don't want to sound like an idiot. So I've been trying to read up and get kind of a base, but it's been difficult. So I am working on it, though. I cannot promise when it'll be out, but I do have the data. I just need the brain power to put it all together into a package that I think everyone will enjoy, and it will be a standalone video. It will not be a live stream. Just so you know. But okay. Yeah, DP, that's great. I'm glad you watched Demand. I really enjoyed doing this. I'm glad you liked it. So everyone have a great night. I am going to join my wife for some dinner, and then we're going to go to the pub and have some German Weiss beer with raspberry flavoring. I will brag on myself. It's a Weiss beer, and I named it. I came up with the name Vice City after the GTA game, and it stuck. And now they're even producing it in cans, so I'm famous. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Be well. I'll see you soon.